Moving Indiana Fever games to Atlanta, that's not a strategic play that damaged control with a basketball, because here's the thing: you can't sell out an empty room. You can't hide from the fact that the second Caitlin Clark got sidelined, the energy dropped like a cell phone. Toilet the league, which had finally national relevance, went from prime time to please don't look at the bleachers in a matter of days. And if you're wondering how bad it is, consider this: if you're here for the real story and not to filter version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. The WNBA had spent the last few months parading Caitlin around like a prize trophy. Every promo's bought her face, every broadcast's intro her stats, every feature article her journey. And don't get it twisted, she earned that spotlight. She is generational. But what happens when a piece of your entire strategy can't play? Apparently you pack up your team, reroute out the bus, and beg Atlanta to fill the seats. Let's call what it is: a band-aid over a bullet wound, because Caitlin Clark isn't just injured, she's exposed a flaw a league didn't want to admit, a flaw they've been dodging for years. The uncomfortable truth that the WNBA, for all its progress, still doesn't know how to build a league-wide narrative that survives without a single golden goose, is not the first time either. Remember when Diana Taurasi was carrying the lead, or when Sue Bird was her go-to legend? The spotlight got brighter, but it never got broader. It's always been one woman at a time. And that's the trap they keep falling into this time. And it does happen faster, because Caitlin Clark, she was instant oxygen. The league inhaled it like it hadn't breathed in years. Sellouts, viral clips, now national headlines. Suddenly people who had watched the women's game in a decade were tuning in just to see what she'd do next. And league comfortable fast. But that comfort turned into complacency, and when Clark went down, there was no safety net, no other storylines ready to carry the torch, no rivalries heating up, no veteran revenge arcs, just silence, a silence so loud it filled with relocation to tricks, because that's what Atlanta was: not a basketball decision, a television decision, a lighting trick, a desperate attempt to make it look like everything was still fine, still exciting, still historic. But you can't hide from reality forever, and reality is this: the WNBA doesn't just have a Caitlin Clark problem, it has a structure problem. Because when one player sneezes and your entire ecosystem catches pneumonia, that's not bad luck, that's bad planning. Let's talk economics. Ticket prices dropped 30% a week after injury. 30%, that's nice. Just an adjustment that a straight-up market crash. Fans literally said no Caitlin, then no cash. And these weren't as casuals either. These were diehards who bought the March followed rookie journey and post their game day Sophies online. Even they tapped out sponsorship deals awkwardly. Wyatt brand partners were thrilled to be part of a new era, are now sitting in meetings wondering why their logo is being seen by fewer eyeballs than a daytime soap opera. This isn't just about sports, it's about business confidence. And when the WNBA shows that one player equals the whole pie, investors start getting nervous. And that's where the Atlanta move looks even more reckless, because of your solution to a shrinking fan base is geographic hot potato. What message are you really sending? You're telling players we'll move your game for TV, not for fairness. You're telling fans it's more about optics and loyalty. You're telling the world we don't have a plan B, we just have Caitlin. And listen, Clark deserves every bit of praise she gets. She's gritty, she's talented, she's marketable as hell. But even she would probably admit that the situation is unsustainable, because no player wants to carry a league with no backup. No player wants to feel like if they get injured, everything collapses like a cheap folding chair, and no player should have to. So here we are, the Fever being relocated like a rogue circus act. The ticket stubs might as well say special guest appearance, please clap. And a league is quietly praying that when Clark returns, the momentum or two, but will it? Because the danger isn't just what happens while she's gone, is what happens after. What if fans come back and realize there's no depth to product, where they only tune in for Clark's minutes, then dip the second she's benched, where the other stars who should have been nurtured and spotlighted never get their due, because league never planned for their rise worth. The trust is already broken. That's what Atlanta represents. Not just relocated game now, just a venue swap. It's a symbol of desperation, a signal flare, a league shouting, "Don't stop watching, we'll do anything." But fans and smell panic players can feel when things don't add up, and critics, they're sharpening their knives right now. So as the way out, it's not moving more games, it's not inflated press releases, it's not pretending a halftime performance can save the day, it's doubling down on the actual product. Start marketing the other rookies. Highlight the vets who've been putting in work for years. Lean into the stories, aren't just viral clips, but substance. Rivalries, comebacks, underdogs. Start treating every player like a future star, not just the one trending on Twitter. And maybe, just maybe, stop acting like Caitlin Clark is a magic spell that makes the WNBA watchable. She's a gift, but she's not a solution. The solution is building a league strong enough that if Clark goes down, it doesn't feel like the lights just went out. And to the fans, keep showing up, but also start demanding more. Don't just wait for the next viral 3. Watch the hustle plays, learn the names on the billboard, yet invest in the sport, not just the moment, because of the WNBA want to survive, really survive, as the stop faking momentum and start earning it. So I think was moving a fever to Atlanta a smart marketing play, or the most transparent panic over the season? Is the WNBA digging itself into a deeper hole by pretending everything's fine, or can they turn this around before the post-Clark bin completely flatlines? Let us know in the comments, because this league isn't just fighting for ratings now, it's fighting for credibility, and with every fake sold our game in every sound arena cam, it's getting harder and harder to believe the hype. Hit the subscribe button if you are more deep dive, more receipt, and every twist and his ongoing meltdown, because something tells us this isn't the last time the league will try to move the problem to another city next time. Vegas, Chicago, maybe Mars, anywhere. But where the seats are empty and the truth is impossible to ignore. We are talking about Indiana Fever games. Act the only real ticket in town when Caitlin clogs on the floor. But here's the kicker, Caitlin not on the floor, she's on the sideline nursing an injury. And suddenly the WNBA looks like a cruise ship. Realize in the captain's not coming back. So what is league? Do they move the game to Atlanta? A full-on Hail Mary as a geography is the problem, not the fact that they hit their entire business model to one rookie. Let's break this down, because this isn't as a logistical shakeup. It's a red flag flapping a neon, a desperate pivot dressed up as expanding the fan base. That no one's buying it, not the fans, it's not the media, and definitely not the players, still grinding without a fraction of spotlight. The truth, this is panic, and it's loud, because the second Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA house of cards started swaying. Ratings in just dip, they nosedive. Tickets say sales evaporated. That same hype machine that had arena selling out first time in years silent. It didn't take long before the headlines changed. Suddenly, the same lead bragging about record-breaking viewership was quietly slashing ticket prices, blacking out seating charts, and praying anyone would still care without Clark on the court. Spoiler, they didn't. Now let's talk about why Atlanta. Why move again there of all places? Well, for starters, the arena in Atlanta looks better on camera when it's half for. It's a classic optics move. Smaller venue, tighter shot, dim the upper decks. Boom, you got illusion of demand. Is the same trick concert promoters use when a show undersells. They call it intimate. We call it you're scrambling. Also, Atlanta has been somewhat of a WNBA friendly market, not booming, but not crickets either. So when a Fever can't fill their home arena without Clark, and the league staring down another national broadcast with 14 rows of empty chair behind the bench, you pick up and you move. You chase the illusion of relevance. And that's what this is, an illusion, because when your league starts reshuffling schedules, uprooting teams, and begging out of state crowds, sure, just so it does. Embarrassing on ESPN, and that's not strategy, that's survival mode. And the players, they see it, they may not say on camera, but don't think for a second they're not side. I need decisions. You got athletes who've been grinding in this league for years, all-stars, champions, and yet The minute Caitlin Clark goes down, it's like the plug gets pulled, one rookie, and everything stops. Imagine what that does the morale to locker rooms, to veterans who have never seen this kind of coverage, attention, or protection, who are suddenly realizing that everything they build being held together by a single first-year play with eyes on her knee. And look, we're not saying Caitlin doesn't deserve the hype. She's a generational talent. She changed college basketball. She is the moment. But what we're saying is this: it should have never come to this way. One player should never hold up an entire league. That's not a testament to our greatness. It's a glaring indictment of the league's failure to build anyone else up. Where's the backup plan? Where's the star system? Where's the supporter other players who've been breaking records, playing lights out, and getting ignored? Because they're not Caitlin. It's not Caitlin's fault. It's the system's fault. A system that got lazy, a system that thought one viral moment could carry a decade of underdevelopment, a system that plastered Clark face on every poster boy, forgot to invest in the rest of the roster, and now without her that system's collapsing in real time. Let's talk numbers, because the data doesn't lie. After Clark injury, viewership dropped by now nearly half, like someone flipped the channel and just forgot to come back. Ticket prices dropped by 30%. That's not just dip, that's a full-blown martyr correction, like the fan collectively said, yeah, no Caitlin, we are good. Merge sales, declining engagement, down the vibe off, and yet the league's still out here pushing PR fluff like the WNBA is breaking records, as if no one notices that the only time those records happen is when Clark is active. The minute she's out, the lights go dim, the seat go cold, and social media team goes silent. You can't gaslight your fan base into ignoring reality, not when a reality is being broadcast live on national TV, complete with crowd shots that look like they were taken during a fire drill. This Atlanta move is proof that the league knows what we all know. Without Caitlin, they're not ready to sustain interest, not ready to build deeper narrative, not ready to carry the momentum they just started to generate. And here's what's really scary. This isn't even a long-term injury. Clark's out for a few games, maybe a few weeks, and already the system is shaking. What happens if she gets seriously hurt? What happens if she takes a season-ending knock? What happens if she's just tired? Because guess what? That's coming. To the constant media pressure, the fan expectations, the 40-minute nights is unsustainable. And the lead better figure that out fast, because right now they're running her into the ground while they still can. And what happens next with the end game? Do we just keep moving fever games, the cities I can fake hype? Do we start building hologram AMD of Caitlin Clark for game she can't play? Do we start tweeting old highlights to cover up the fact that the product right now is unwatchable without her? That's not a lead, that's a one-woman circus. And no, this isn't just how sports work. The NBA didn't collapse when LeBron got injured. The NFL didn't throw a tantrum when Brady retired. That's because those league-built stars, plural, redundancy, depth. The WNBA, they didn't build anything. They just stood on Clark's shoulders and prayed she wouldn't stumble. Well, she did, and now here we are. Look, this doesn't have to be the and this could be the wake-up call, the moment when league finally admits, okay, maybe we need to spread the love a bit, develop the other rookies, highlight the veterans, invest in rivalries, build stories, create personalities, give and reason to care beyond just one face. Because of the only time any trend is when Caitlin Clark is in the building. What happens when she's not? You move to Atlanta, and that's what. And that's not a solution, is to delay. So tell us what you think. Is a league in real trouble without Clark? Was moved to Atlanta a smart pivot or just a desperate distraction? And most importantly, Canada dumb? You be a fix this, or is the window already closing? Drop your takes in the comments, because we've got our popcorn ready. This league is, and for panic mode, and the drama's far from oversubscribed. For more breakdowns, more chaos, and yes, more Caitlin Clark intent when she finally returns. Until then, and we'll be watching the WNBA try to play dress up while the queen's off the court. We are watching the WNBA try to outrun reality with press releases and ticket promos. promos thinking they keep smiling long enough no one noticed a house is burning down behind them. Well, we noticed, and let's be real, moving India. A Fever Games Atlanta is about growing the game or reaching new fans. That's a cute headline. Sure, it sounds progressive, but underneath it all, it's a cheap sleight of hand to cover up a scrambling lead try and keep the optical I was product flounders without Caitlin Clark on a floor. You know what this reminds me of like when a band loses his lead singer mid-tour, and instead of postponing the shows or work with the town they just ship in random guest vocals and hope the crowd does a walkout. But here's the problem. The fans came from Star, and when the star is not there they notice. They're not stupid then. Pay $180 on resale for the nosebleed. Just watch a mid-tier product being sold as elite because arena lights are on, and the WNBA logo is plastered everywhere. They paid for Caitlin, and without her, it's painfully clear the league doesn't know what to offer. But let's unpack what that says about the entire system. Because the WNBA didn't just ride Caitlin Clark wave, they clung to it like it was a life raft, and when she got injured, delusion crack wide open. Suddenly, those record-breaking ratings were gone. On those sold-out crowds, quiet, the merchandise sales stagnant, the league's social media accounts, once flooded with Caitlin Center highlights, now grasping at straws, reposting bin celebrations and rebounding stats like those are going to hold the same cultural weight. It's like watching a magic show after curtains and pull back, and now the Fever, who should be focused on player development and team chemistry, or instead being used like a stage prop shipped around like a carnival act to help the league avoid the truth there to scare the face. Without Clark, there is no plan, no marketing structure built around anyone else, no second tier of promoter talent, no investment in long-term storytelling. Let's be honest, the WNBA doesn't have a star problem, it has a star strategy problem, because they're talented, charismatic, headline-worthy players in this league. We got fan-favorite elites, scores international superstars, but you never know it because the league doesn't know how to build them, they only know how to react to them. Caitlin Clark happened to the WNBA. She wasn't created by it, she wasn't built to gradual exposure and promotion. She brought her entire fan base with her from college. She didn't walk into the front door, she kicked off the hinges, and league just said, cool, let's throw everything behind her and hope she never gets hurt. That's not sustainable, that's reckless. And this move to Atlanta, it's the equivalent of slapping duct tape on a leaking pipe and hoping the basement doesn't flood before tip-off. But let's talk about what's happening to the other players in all of this, because they're not just side characters, they are professionals, competitors, and right now they're being treated like extras. And the Caitlin Clark show, do you think it feels good for a top 10 score play a home game in front of a half-empty crowd, while the Fever have flown into town and given her spotlight? Just keep TV numbers from flatlining, of course. This isn't just a marketing blunder at morale crisis when you tell entire league of women that their efforts only matters if Caitlin isn't the picture. You break trust, you create resentment, you flatten careers in the background noise, and you teach young fans only care about one jersey, one name, one face. That's not how you grow league. That's how you trapped in the loop of burnout and backlash. And let's not pretend this didn't have warning signs. The league saw this coming. They had years even to prepare for the inevitable, to build storylines, to amplify rivalries, to invest in regional fan bases, and promote more than just a single personality. They bet the house on Caitlin, and now that she's temporarily out there trying pretend that rerouting games, Atlanta isn't visionary solution. Instead of what it really is, a band-aid over structural collapse. And that collapse is starting to show quietly, sure, but unmistakably broad. Casters are starting to hint at the awkwardness of empty arenas. Players are becoming more vocal about being overlooked. Fans are questioning why only one rookie gets 90% of the media oxygen. And it's only going to get louder, because here's what happens next. Caitlin returns hopefully soon. Let breathed a sigh of relief. Ratings take back up. Everyone pretends a whole thing never happened until it does again. Because what if Clark gets seriously injured next time? When she burns out, what does she just decide she doesn't want to carry the entire league on her back? For another season, then, what are we read? Locating games to Brooklyn, building a hologram version of her in Vegas, handing out cardboard cutouts to distract the fact that no one knows how to sell a product without her. It's funny in theory, it's tragic in practice. Because the WNBA deserve better than this. The players deserve better than this, and fans. They deserve a league that treated stars at a constellation, not a single sun home, the entire universe together. So where do we go from here? It starts with honesty, no more inflated press releases, no more spin about growth. Let's call what is a fragile ecosystem that desperately need reinforced. The league need to prioritize building depth, not just in rosters, but in narrative, promote players, consistently create media exposure around multiple teams, not just the ones with viral highlights, give rookies other than Caitlin the chance to shine, develop rivalries, not forced drama, but earned conflict, give us the matchups, the trash talk, the history, let fans invest more than just a single player stat line. And if you, the WNBA front office, stop moving gain around like you're running a pop-up shop, that's not strategy, that's survival theater. Start planning like a league that wants to be here in 5, 10, 15 years, because a window is open right now. Caitlin brought in millions of new eyes. The challenge is keeping them, and as not going to happen with cheap tricks and player over youth. It's go to